What is going on, guys? It's Greg here today, and I'm bringing you part 2 of my Ground War series guide. Today, I'm going to be going over some more tips and tricks that I've learned for you guys in order to improve your experience at Ground War, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. Starting off, I just wanted to say, as you guys can see early on in this video, I'm going to go over the first tip, and that is going to be about lurking spawns, gives you more kills. So right off the rip of the game here, I took a vehicle and I came straight towards A and in between B. And the reason for this is because I figured people would be coming from A and they're going to be rotating out towards B, which means right off the rip of the game, I'll be able to experience higher traffic, which will result me in more kills. So I stopped here just to try to get a feel for where the enemies are going to be coming from and see, off the beginning of the game, how far are people going to push out. Now, obviously, it's going to change from match to match, but I'm trying to find an average here by playing this way off the rip of the match. And I will update you guys later down the road whenever I figure out some more stuff, if it's necessary. But, as you can see, I'm making my way towards A, and the reason I'm doing this is because spawns right now are most likely going to be on the helicopter, which is the payload that's flying around. I think it's called the transport heli, and it's also going to be at A flag here because it's the only flag the enemies own at the time being. So I'm going to be close to all the action because people are going to be spawning in and trying to rotate around the map. Therefore, they're going to have to come to me, and I can get some kills and pick them off. As you can see, a teammate got a UAV, and therefore I'm seeing a lot of enemies on the radar. But you'll see right there that the transport heli is flying over, and you'll see a lot of up carrots on those red dots, which means they are in that transport heli. So they're going to be going somewhere else on the map. But for the time being, a lot of them are still spawning in an A because, again, our team owns all the flags except for A. So I'm just going to lurk this area and try to get a nice quick kill streak going. And this is one of the times where Scorestreaks is actually not going to be helpful for me. So I told you guys that Scorestreaks is a great option in Ground War because it's going to allow you to earn your kill streaks a lot faster if you're playing the objective. However, as you guys can see here, that is not the case because, well, there really isn't an objective around for me to play, and I don't want to cap A right off the rip of the game if it's the only flag that they had, because I'm trying to actually play out a full-length match. I'm not trying to just have it instantly go into DEFCON and end the game. I prefer to actually play a match and see how it plays out. So, as you can see right here, I end up picking up my chopper gunner at 12 kills instead of 10 kills, which is rather unfortunate, but if that wasn't the only flag they owned, I would have went for A, tried to cap it, and maybe get some capture kills, and on top of that, I would have been able to earn my kill streaks faster. So it's a risk versus reward kind of thing. The riskier you play, which is obviously playing the objective where the enemies are going to know where you're at, the more reward you'll get, which will be more score towards your kill streaks. If you're not playing the objective because maybe it's just not the time to do it, or you're just not near an objective, then it's actually going to hurt you. So, as we talked in the last video, Scorestreaks is very helpful, but it's massively going to depend on your playstyle. Next up, I wanted to go over what I believe are the 5 best guns in Ground War that you could never go wrong with using, and that is what we're about to talk about. Starting off, we have the Kastov 7.62, and this is an assault rifle that is unlocked pretty early on in the game. It's a very powerful assault rifle that deals a lot of damage downrange, and you're seeing it in the gameplay in the background. I absolutely love this assault rifle for Ground War because, well, Ground War ranges are really stretched out, and if you have a gun that deals a lot of damage downrange, you can compete with some of the longer ranged weapons in the game, like marksman rifles or sniper rifles. So, Kastov 7.62, very versatile gun for Ground War. As for snipers, I'm going to recommend the Victus XMR. If you want to see the best class setup for the Victus XMR for Ground War, I have a video on my channel for that. Link will be in the description below. Next up, we have the RPK LMG, and I think this is a very good choice because it's pretty much a longer range version of the Kastov 7.62. Now, it does go to say that it is a little bit slower handling and all that kind of stuff, so if you're going to use it, you're definitely going to have to use it for those medium to longer ranges, but it's a very fun weapon and it's very reliable overall, and I would highly recommend you guys checking it out. Another good weapon is the RAL LMG, and this is a very popular choice in Warzone right now. It deals great damage, has great range, and pretty good accuracy. Just know it is one of the slowest, if not the slowest gun in the entire game whenever it comes to handling, but if you can learn to play around that, it is definitely a powerhouse that you will not regret using. Last but not least, I'm going to recommend the PDSW, I believe it is called, and this is a submachine gun. It's also known as the P90 in previous Call of Duty games, And the reason I'm going to recommend this gun to you guys is because in the submachine gun category, this has one of the highest bullet velocities. Bullet velocity is a very important statistic in ground war because the ranges are stretched out compared to the traditional 6v6 multiplayer. Having bullet velocity at your disposal is going to allow you to hit your targets with much more ease, and therefore I would highly recommend picking a gun that has some solid bullet velocity. On top of that, you have a 50 round mag, which is very nice because there are 32 players or 24 players depending on the map that you are on. So I would highly recommend checking out the P90 because I believe that it is one of the best submachine guns for ground war. Hey guys, it's Greg from the future here, and I'm editing back in 2 more weapons that I think are honorable mentions because they're also very good guns in ground war, so I'm going to give you 7 great weapons for ground war. So, next up we have the Lockman 5.56 AR because this gun has some pretty weak damage up close, but down longer ranges is where this gun excels, especially because you can kit it out to have very low recoil, as you guys saw in my weapon tuning guide. So this gun is amazing for ground war, and I would highly recommend checking it out. And finally, we have a gun that also suffers the same fate as the Lockman 5.56, and this is going to be the M13B. And I absolutely love this gun in ground war as well as any sort of longer range scenario because of its sheer accuracy. I also wanted to give you guys an update that they have patched the cruise missile score. At the time I am making this video, I am no longer earning score for driving a cruise missile into the Pavelo, so I believe that my video has brought some attention to InfinityWard, because otherwise I don't know why they would have patched it. So, with that being said, it seems that that is no longer the case, and you're wasting your time if you're trying to go for the cruise missile kills to earn your score streaks. Now, that's not to say that it's not useful for destroying the heli, because it definitely still is, and it's definitely still very useful for taking out any vehicle that you really just want to get rid of on the map. But there is a new score bug, or just a method of earning extra score, and this is actually if you have kill streaks. So if you use an SAE, a VTOL jet, whatever kill streak it is that is going to get you some kills, if you call this in or it's getting some kills while you're capturing an objective or defending an objective, you'll actually get some attacker or defender score. Generally, this is about 50 score, so each kill it gets you is going to give you some bonus score. If you're using vehicles, you want to start using vehicles properly instead of hunting out single infantry that are in the middle of nowhere. I promise you, you are not helping your team by doing that, and it's just going to cost you to lose the game. So, if you're using a vehicle, what I would recommend doing, especially on a map like Tarak, is I would highly recommend that you go ahead and take that vehicle and drive it around to capture the flags. Since the flags are in open areas, you'll be able to go ahead and capture those flags as well as kill any enemies that are trying to defend those flags. And on top of that, if you combine this with score streaks, you'll actually be rewarded for your efforts. If you're taking out vehicles, capturing flags, all that kind of stuff, you'll be able to get your score streaks or your kill streaks, I should say, with score streaks while you are in a vehicle. Now, it's not to say that going after infantry is really going to help you with this because you don't get much score, if any at all, but doing those objectives and destroying other vehicles is going to reward you with score. So, if you're using a vehicle, make sure you're chasing after other vehicles or chasing after those objectives. Another thing you're seeing in the gameplay in the background is lurking spawns, and this is because in this game, something I have learned about the spawn points in ground war is that people can still spawn on flags whenever you're starting to take them. So up until about halfway, they can still spawn on the flag. Once you capture about half of the flag, the spawn will be blocked, and therefore no one can spawn on that flag. This means that people are going to be spawning on that flag trying to come kill you because they're going to want to try to defend their flag, obviously. So you can actually rack up a lot of kills, and combine this with score streaks, you'll even earn more score because you're going to be getting capture kills. Also, you can lurk the enemy's flag, but this is not as effective as Modern Warfare 2019 because people can simply spawn in other areas if they catch on to what you're doing. So, lurking the enemy's spawn point isn't necessarily the greatest thing to do in this game, as I would highly recommend maybe baiting them to spawn on that flag by starting to capture the flag and see if they try to spawn on it to defend it, and then you could start actually racking up some kills, and maybe even some higher kill streaks. Last but not least, there's one more thing I wanted to go over since the last video, and this is about shock sticks. So last time we touched up on shock sticks and said that they're really good to use against vehicles, but I didn't really know how it worked quite yet. And now I have figured it out, and basically what shock sticks do is they'll slow down an enemy vehicle and maybe even mess up its rate of fire on its weapon. This is great to do if you want to try to get past a vehicle and you don't want it trying to follow you around, so I highly recommend just tossing a shock stick at it and then running away. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the part 2 of Ground War. I will maybe have a part 3 depending on how much stuff I discover, but I'm thinking about doing some more tips and tricks stuff as I go along as a YouTube short, so that way you don't have to spend as much time watching and you can spend more time playing. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video in the comment section below, and again, as always, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content, drop a rating to let me know how I'm doing, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, and have a great day.